And you're off.
All right. You ladies ready?
Ready.
Questions? All right. So what do you all want to learn today? We're going to go over over open houses. And first part of the class, we're going to discuss how to make sure people show up to your open house. And then second part of the class, we are going to go over what to do at your open house and how to make sure you get leads, how we turn those leads into listings and actual business. Okay? So to get started, what are your expectations? I want to make sure that we get your questions answered and that we exceed what your expectations are. So Ashley? Okay. So for everybody that did not hear, Ashley said she wants to learn tips and tricks for getting people to show up and then what follow-up looks like afterwards, okay? CJ, you've actually worked an open house. There's Miss Crystal Conrad. CJ, what are your expectations for today? Perfect. Okay. Judy, Dana, what about you? What about you ladies? If you want to put it in the chat box, or if you want to unmute, that is okay too.
Technology for me, anything that would really add to an open house, technology-wise.
Technology-wise? Okay. I'm a little old-fashioned in that I don't use the iPad, or the only technology I use, and I can show you that, I will have, and you will hear me stop a little bit, ladies, because I'm trying to catch my ums. So bear with me on that. The only technology that I really do personally is I will set my computer up and have the client detail sheet up. What I'm actually going to start doing, and I just had this idea at an open house I had on Sunday, is I'm going to start making a slideshow about it and just have the slideshow running with some music behind it, okay? So that's me, and there's a strategic reason why I don't that we'll dive into, because I want to make sure that I capture lead information, and for me personally, it just works. I've never tried the iPad, go ahead. I've never tried the iPad or the technological standpoint of it. I know Jesse Allen does it, and it works wonders for him. Me personally, I do the handwritten.
Judy, are you talking about maybe doing Facebook ads before the open house? Is that what you're talking about? Because yes. Thomas is having a class next week on that, so you may.
Okay. Okay, perfect.
Okay.
Not only that, but even while you're there doing Facebook stuff, you know, to get people interested, if that's usable, I don't know.
Gotcha.
Okay. I'll stay tuned.
That helps me, okay, because I will do a Facebook Live.
Okay.
I do a Facebook Live when I get there. So yeah, we can go over that 100%. All right, let's dive in. So most people, here's where we're going to start. We're going to start at 7th level open house, okay? So when we run an open house, here's what most people do. I'm guilty of it. I've done it. Is they have their open house scheduled middle of the week, and they show up. If people show up, awesome. However many people showed up, that's how many leads they got, and then they're done. Sound familiar?
That's an average open house.
That's an average open house.
Are we average realtors, Ethan?
We are not. Are we average realtors, ladies? No.
All right.
Okay.
I just had to get that out there.
So we follow, here's the thing, you can center your lead generation completely around open houses. if you all were in here on Thursday when I taught listings and the listing presentation, my least favorite form of lead gen is for sale by owners. My favorite form of lead generation is open houses, because I like to get in front of people, because we can build that relationship. We can start talking. They get a rapport for what I really am, and then it makes follow-up that much easier, okay? That's why I like open houses. Then as you are prospecting for the open house, that's another form of lead generation, okay? So as you're going through and finding more people, that is a second form. So we're in a shifting market. This outlays every open house level 1 to 7, okay? Your average open house is going to be 1 through 3, okay? Basically, a lot of people just stop at sign in the yard. Level 2, sign in the yard with riders. Level 3, directional signs with balloons and riders. Then we add in flyers the week before and invites and postcards on websites.
Okay, so what determines which level you do? Do we do that on our own?
Mm-hmm. Whichever one you want to do. Now, I will say this. How many people have read the book Shift? Okay, Crystal's read Shift. Judy, you have read Shift. Shawn has. So in a shifting market, which we are in, you should do no less than a level 5 open house, okay? As a standard, and remember, a standard is something that we do not drop below. I would not drop below a level 5 open house, especially if you enjoy doing open houses, okay? So level 5.
In this day's market, you can't really do an open house like.
Yes, you.
I mean, like the fly, like, no, I'm talking about the flyers like a week before. They're not on. Yeah, they're not staying on right.
Okay, let me check.
Staying on market long enough. Yeah.
Let me challenge that. I have a listing going live tomorrow.
What was the question, Ethan? Sorry.
No, thank you. Please remind me of that. So Crystal said you can't really do an open house and you can't really advertise for it because of how fast listings are moving.
I know, the flyers a week before.
The flyers a week before. Okay.
Because they're going so fast.
Yes. So an entire week before, probably not. However, what you can do is you can still time the open house. Let me give you an example. We have a listing going live tomorrow. We're going to do an open house 5 to 7. We'll go through and we'll put invites in mailboxes. Because same point, you have to adapt and pivot. Okay?
Paper boxes.
Say again?
Paper boxes.
Paper
We've got
boxes.
new agents in there.
Paper boxes, do not put it in their mailbox.
Thank you. Sorry.
Yeah, do not put it in their mailbox. So you have to adapt and pivot. Give you an example too. I don't know that I'd knock on a door right now just because of COVID, just because of the way things are and you're wearing a mask. I mean, I get it. So we can still do this. Okay. You see somebody out in the yard, just walk up to them. Okay. The neighbors. Yep. So what we're typically going to do is Shawn and I were just talking about this. We're going to run a private open house from 1 to 2, and then the public open house from 2 to 4. Okay. And on that flyer, you're going to put, you are personally invited to a neighborhood open house exclusive for neighbors only. People want to feel special. Okay. This helped me sell a house up in Woods of Lafayette. We went around, I did a dialer. If you're on a team, you probably have access to a dialer. And I cold called. I'll give you a quick disclaimer about cold calling here in just a second. Quick disclaimer on that. But we cold called and we actually had 2 or 3 people show up to help us sell the house. Okay. Level 6, there was one of them.
Ethan, I have a really quick question for you, babe.
What you got?
What is the #1 purpose of holding an open house?
Let's ask the class, what's the #1 purpose of holding an open house? to get leads. You know the percentage on how many times it actually sells the house? About 2.
So you said that was good that you mentioned shifts. So let's change our mindset on this whole situation, right? I know that during COVID, it's very different, and maybe it throws like a little pitch in our get along when it comes to our lead generation, but there's ways around it.
100%.
So in a normal market, to Crystal's point, I just wanted to piggyback off of what you said. To Crystal's point, you know, listings are flying off the market right now. So Crystal, I would still go and flyer the neighborhood a week before, because even if you have to cancel your open house, that gives you another opportunity to re-canvas the open or the neighborhood and knock on those doors and say, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. We had to cancel the open house, and here's why. So you take those multiple offers that you got and you black out the names, and you say, we actually had multiple offers on this house. This is a very, you know, in-demand neighborhood, and these are 3 of the offers that didn't win. So here are 3 buyers from our company and other companies that want to live in this neighborhood. So I just wanted you to be the first to know that we did have to cancel the open house. I'm very sorry, but if you're thinking about selling and moving, now is the time, because we have people that want to live here.
So we ran 3 open houses about a month ago. We ran 3 open houses all on the same day. We had agents in the other 2 houses because I was working new construction. We sold both houses, and one of them had been struggling. We sold both houses because people knew other people were going to start coming through. Now, to capitalize on that, we should have went back through. Now, if you're talking, just to kind of add to that, because I think a question might be, you can only advertise a day before the listing goes live with how fast stuff is, still do that. So Tuesday, my listing goes live tomorrow. Get your stuff out now. And then that's going to be even better when you have to go back around and say, hey, I'm sorry, open house is canceled, you know, because we already brought a buyer. Dang, wait a minute. You just came by my house and told me we were having an open house, and the listing went live on Wednesday. Really? Yes, 100%. So here's a quick little note on signing the yard, because are you all starting to realize that lead generation just isn't the open house, that it's actually around the open house? Are you starting to grab that? Okay. So as you're putting out, you should have your sign in the yard. I like to be a week out if possible, back to your point. Get them out as soon as possible, okay? So people are driving by and they see that that open house is coming, okay? When you put a sign out, I'm going to tell you something right now that's going to get you a lead, and it's going to save you money, okay? If you're on a corner lot where you're putting a directional sign, walk up to the door, knock on the door. Hey, Mr. Hi, sir, you know, hey, I'm having an open house just down the road. Would you be offended if I put this directional sign in your yard? What did I say there? Would you be offended?
Just until the weekend.
Yeah, just until the weekend. As soon as the open house is over, I'll take it back out. Oh yeah, absolutely. Would you care if I tell you how the open house went? No. 9 times out of 10, they don't care. And they're going to appreciate you ask. Okay? So that person's also a lead, and you've asked for permission as well. Okay? Just by being polite. Go back through. Hey, I'm just letting you know I'm picking up my sign. Nobody stole it, and here are the results of the open house. This is what we had. Yeah. Well, there's where it comes in and saving you money, guys. Ladies, I'm gonna say, because I'm the only guy. Ladies, when you're paying for those signs, people will walk out in their front yard, even though it's next to a stop sign, and they will throw that sign away. So Save yourself a little money, get you a lead, build a relationship, okay? 3 things off of just making one simple door knock, okay? How many of you all have access to a dialer? Ashley does. Okay, if you have access to a dialer and to Cole Realty, if you are in the PC program, you should have access to Cole Realty. Yes. So Cole Realty is a service that pulls, and Amy will show you how to do it. It pulls data from all around. Don't get hung up on that you need this, okay? Don't get hung up on that you need this, because you can do exactly what we just said without Cole Realty, okay? I don't want you to get hung up on the fact of I've got to go buy some expensive software, because you don't. If you do have the advantage or you can afford it, remember, red light, green light. Don't spend money. You want to stay profitable. Now, if your budget allows for it, Cole Realty will pull names and numbers around, and you can single dial them, or you can upload them into your dialer of choice and call them. Now, make sure that you scrub against the do not call list, okay? There's my warning. Do not, that could be up to a $40,000 fine if you call the wrong person, okay?
Yeah, there's information on the do not call list in the training manual in the resource center. So it has the why, where do you go, and all of the information regarding the do not call list.
Yes. Now, once you do that, here is my personal script for when I am cold calling and inviting people. It's Crystal, script practice with me again. Come up here real quick. This is my script that I use. Keywords in here I want you all to pay attention to is invite, and here to invite's the keyword, okay? Ring, ring.
Hello?
Hi, is Crystal available?
Yes, sir.
Hey, Crystal, my name's Ethan Rapier. I'm with Keller Williams Realty. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I am excellent. I appreciate you asking. Hey, reason for my call is I wanted to invite you out to an open house we're having. You live in the neighborhood. It's 123 Main Street, and it's exclusive for neighbors only from 1 to 2, okay?
All right.
So I just wanted to invite you out. Will you be coming to join us?
Yeah. If I don't have anything going on, yeah, I'll be there.
Perfect. I appreciate that. We'll see you there.
All right. Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye.
So just simple as that. Because when people are invited to something, they want to come join it, okay?
Right.
And then,
Neighbors are nosy sometimes, right?
yep, it is amazing when you change your wording. I've had people get all upset and why are you calling me? How'd you get my number? Oh, I just wanted to invite you to an open house we're having. Oh, okay, we'll come. We always wanted to see what the inside of that house looked like.
And it's exclusive. Is that a trigger word or what?
That is a trigger word. It is exclusive.
Exclusive for the neighbors. Oh, how fancy.
Yep.
And you know why else neighbors are so great? Because neighbors love picking their own neighbors. They've got friends and family and coworkers that they might want to live around. So that just spreads the word even more.
100%.
I love it.
There was a checklist that I liked. So with this as well, if you're spending a little bit of money that you can add into this, make sure you run a Facebook ad around it, okay? Hey, we're having, what I would run it as is I would run it through command, and I would not promote. I would run it to capture buyer leads, okay? In the first section, what I would say is open house, Sunday, 2 to 4 to public, okay? As you're creating that Facebook ad. Condense your search down as far as Facebook will let you. I think they'll let you go, Shawn, correct me. Oh, Shawn left, where'd she go? I think Facebook will let you go as low as 10 miles. I would concentrate it
I think
down
so.
to the area.
I think so.
Okay. The other thing you want to do is you want to make sure that your active buyers know about it, okay? That's another touch to those buyers. If it's in, make sure your database knows about it. Hey, we are trying to promote this house. Who do you know that's looking? There's an opportunity for a referral. How many different sources of business and lead opportunities have we given you off of one open house? Knocking at the neighbor's door on directional, the open house itself, door knocking the neighbors, okay, and promoting it, running Facebook ads, circle prospecting. 5 opportunities off of one open house, okay? Here's the other thing that open houses do, and if you're building your business, this is something that we're taking into big consideration. We are going to really start branding ourselves going into 2021. Okay, so I want our signs in front of people. It's a major, oh, he's selling a house again. He's selling a house again. That's another byproduct of people seeing your brand out in front of them. Okay, because I want everybody in Southern Indiana as they go past the street to see the Rapier Real Estate Group. Todd has said it. I've been in classes Todd has taught. He will actually put his signs within a little bit of a stretch of a for sale of a listing, and he does that to promote. They see your signs everywhere. Yep. Okay. So before, during, and after. Get the word out, signs during the open house. Go through, I'm going to use this one. Let's go back over here. I kind of like this one a little bit more.
Hey, Ethan.
Yes, dear.
On that list, it said pull the comps. Why do you need to be prepared with the comps?
Because you need to know if the house, if you get somebody that says, well, I think the price is too much. Okay. I think it's too high. Well, here's actually what houses are selling for. Did you know that? Or you get a neighbor that comes in as, why is that right? Or I think that's low. You actually have proof to show them what houses are selling for.
Comps with the pictures.
Comps with the pictures so that they can recognize.
Especially if you're dealing with the neighbors, because some neighbors have updated kitchens and some neighbors do not. So if you have listed that property who is not upgraded and they say, well, this is awful low, that could deter them from listing with you. But if you have the comps with the pictures available, then you can say, well, if you have updated kitchens and bathrooms, then that's completely a different price range, right? You have that information because numbers don't lie. There's so many checklists.
There's several of them. I'm trying to find the one I really liked.
You just got to pick the one that you love and stick with it. Which one are you looking for?
There was one like what to do beforehand.
Is that the seller's checklist?
I think so.
It's the bottom. Yep. So your seller can help you prepare?
Yep.
Yep. There you go.
So when you guys get to the open house at least 15 to 20 minutes beforehand, okay? Because some sellers, we love them, but we need to do our due diligence as real estate agents. Be very careful moving valuables. Call them, say, hey, if they left jewelry and money and stuff out, call them and say, hey, better yet, I would text so it's in writing. Hey, you left this on the cabinet. May I move it? Can I put it in this drawer so it is safe? It is in written documentation. Okay.
Hey, Ethan.
So to me, you
Sorry.
kind of, no.
I have a quick question for you.
Yes.
Have you ever left this with your seller during the listing presentation to set expectations?
I have not, and we're going to.
Okay. I was just curious.
No, I found these when you sent them to me and I like them. So I'm going to use these because
if I was active out there listing, I would all day long That way they know.
I got to thinking, I'm good at open houses. That's where a lot of good majority of my business comes from. What do we need to do to make this an experience? Go back. Here's something to reference for you guys. Go back to Mega Camp of 2019. Look up a gentleman named, I believe his last name's Nevada, and the other guy's name is Richie, I believe. And he spends about $200. Open house is his only form of lead gen, and they make it an experience. Okay. So what has happened is his team is known for holding these open houses, and people will actually travel to go to these open houses. Okay. So a few things that you can do when you get to the open house: make sure it's as bright as it can be. You want to tell your seller that anyway when you list a home. My script is, hey, look, we're going to sell this home really fast is our expectation. So electric bill's not going to go up for very long. However, while we're showing it, I need all lights on. I need you to open every window, make it feel warm. You want to make sure that's done for your open house. In our kit, I'm going to ask sellers if we can have the little cookie, smell good, give a warm feeling in. So when people enter the door, they feel good. Okay. Again, we want to make it an experience. Clean it, make sure there's no clutter on the counters. Most sellers are actually really good about this, because if they have people coming through their home, they want to show it off. Okay. So you won't run into this a lot. However, you do want to set expectations. Okay.
Another thing that kind of drives me crazy during showings is like, and I appreciate that some people live in their home and like their thermostat to be on like 74, 75. But make sure that it's nice and cool in the house in the summertime, because when buyers walk into a house that's warm, they automatically think something's wrong with the AC.
Yep. Or if it's 32 degrees, make sure it is a comfortable setting.
Yeah.
Everybody understand? Questions? What questions do you all have so far? Now, what I do at my open house is I will run a Facebook Live about 5 minutes beforehand, okay? I'm testing out, does it work better from my business page? Does it work better from my personal? I like running it on my personal better, and then I'll have my business page share it, okay? Because we get more views. And I started that. Here's how I started that. I was desperate for business. Lisa Lander gave me the opportunity to work Land Mills open houses. So I was like, well, I don't have anything to lose. I'm going to start jumping on Facebook Live. And people actually started coming to the open house. People would, hey, I saw you were on Facebook Live. And I would also preview the property. Hey, come join me Saturday, 2 to 5. We're going to be at 123 Cookie Drive out here in Whispering Oaks 2. And people were coming because they saw that. We're going to have to innovate and make it a little bit different, because now everybody does it. So we got to get a little bit different around that and make it an experience. Do you share
that on your clients' Facebook as well?
Do I share it on their Facebook?
Mm-hmm.
Like ask them to share it?
Or just share it to their timeline or tag them in it?
No, that's genius.
I'll be here all day, folks.
Yeah. That's why we keep Shawn around. We love her.
Add that to your checklist.
Add that to your checklist.
I mean, the more eyes on it, the better.
Because we're on a team, we host a bunch of weeks. Do you find that there's any benefit to posting like the open houses separately? Should we do an ad? Is there a benefit to doing an ad with all of them? Or should we do an ad separately for each one? Or do you have any guidance? What would be the best practice if we're doing a bunch in a week?
I'd test it. I would test it and see what results you get. You might want to, I saw that, and I was wondering the same thing. I was wondering what kind of results you all were getting from that.
It depends. Sometimes it's really good because there are sellers that will just share that whole schedule, the post, like this is our weekly schedule, and they'll share it because their house is one of the houses and it might hit some other people. focusing on, I guess, just the one, so I honestly don't know what is better, if it would, I guess, we just need to do some experimenting with, like, should we just separate out? Yeah.
So on this other level, it says make sure you hold 4 other open houses in the various range, and you all could probably do that at various prices. So I think it also depends on what you do. So if you're all close together and you've got a $175,000 house and you've got, I'm trying to think, so Witten's not in Juniper anymore, I don't believe. They're in Hawthorne Glen. Okay, so if you all had, that house is $350,000. I was just looking at it. If you had another house just down the road in Skyline and it was a different price point, yes, place them together. So, and maybe group them a little bit. That's an idea. Put them into, you know, hey, here's our Floyd County open houses. Okay, here's our Clark County open houses. And you can start tightening it down, Charlestown. Yeah, work as a team and, you know, hey, go check out this house on Northern Lights Drive. It's $175,000. Because 9 times out of 10, they want to come to the more expensive open house. You know, they want to be, and that's okay. What's your price range? Oh, it's 175. Hey, go down here. And then now you all need to figure out who gets that lead. And that's a team decision, or that's the rainmaker's decision. So have that discussion. I would start narrowing it down though, because you can work that. It is hard to get to level 7 in this market. For a team though that has those many listings, it's not as hard. That make sense? Okay.
So what if you're working an open house for one team and a buyer comes in and they're looking for a house, but it's not necessarily the house for the team that you're doing the open house for, and you send them to another team's property?
Then that's an internal, so you get that lead, and then that's going to be a conversation between you and that team. Okay, remember it's a win-win. Remember our value statement, okay? That's a conversation. If you know who the agent is, let me give you an example. I was at open house on Sunday, 2 to 4. They were talking about stuff more in the $330,000 price range. They want a newer house. I said, hey, go up to Whispering Oaks 2. Lisa Lander's working. I'll text her, tell her you're coming. Go check that house out. I just opened the phone. I text Lisa. I said, hey, Justin Smith is coming to view the home. Okay, cool. Thanks for sending them. We have that relationship here at Keller Williams. That's what makes us special. That if you text that other agent and let them know, hey, I'm sending you this lead, that agent's going to act with integrity and our values to, hey.
I had one on Saturday and I was working the open house for the house.
Mm-hmm.
The couple that was there, the house was too small, so I sent them to Whispering Oaks.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't know at the time that they were already working with Morgan from the Paxton Group. So once they told me that they had the agent, I offered to show them the house, but once they told me that Morgan was their agent, I told her that, I told him that.
I'll repeat this in just a second, everybody.
I told him that they were a part of Keller Williams, so I just had her pass the information to Morgan.
Mm-hmm.
So I actually should have texted Morgan.
I would have texted Morgan and said, hey, your client stopped by at this house. I sent them to such and such house. Just wanted to let you know it may be a fit for you.
Yeah.
I did that with Allison Koopman on Sunday. I took a picture of the lead and I got her information to help Allison. I said, hey, you need to call them. Stephen Day is their agent. You need to call them and say, and follow up on this lead. It might help you sell the house. They were pretty serious. So CJ's question was, if she had a client come through she later found out was working with a Paxton Group agent. She sent them to another house. Should she have let Morgan know that their client come through? Yes, I would have,
Yep.
especially if it's KW.
Just a hey, heads up. I would give a heads up via text message to KW agents and any other agent in our area. It just shows respect for one another. I often say that question should be on the sign-in sheet. So what's your name? What's your phone number? What's your email? Are you working with another agent? Just so you know, and you can touch base with that other agent and say, hey, I just wanted to let you know that your client so-and-so came through my open house today and they seemed interested. So I just wanted to touch base and let you know.
Okay.
I told them about that house and then asked about the agent.
I'm going to give you all a specific wording how to ask that question, okay?
It's really how you feel comfortable asking, but make sure you ask that question.
Yes, 100%. You need to ask that question so that.
The question was coming, but it was fine with the.
Right, and that's how it should be. It should be a flow. Don't feel uncomfortable. The conversation should be flowing, and then once you feel comfortable of saying, hey, are you working with anybody? Are you all working with anybody? I can help you find another property within the area. So
This was very early in the conversation that it was after I told them about Full Spring.
There you go.
Can you repeat for us, please?
Yes, so Crystal said as the conversation progresses, you need to find out if they are working with an agent, and that's 100% right, because you don't want to steal another agent's client. Shawn, I always coach agents and help me work through this, Shawn. So there's a fine line, and I'm going to show you all how to ask the question here in just a second, because when you say, hey, are you working with an agent? What they're immediately going to say is, yes, I am, because I know you will leave me alone. Okay? So
Yeah,
I'm going to show you two things. One's a script. One is how you act at the open house to make them feel comfortable, willing to talk to you, okay? So let's just go ahead and do the script. The first, when you work this in there, is, hey, who's showing you houses? Wait, what do you mean? What do you mean who's showing me houses? Like when you want to go see a house, who's showing you a house? That comes from Chris Suarez. He's runs the experience team out of Oregon.
And then if they say, well, no one, you can say, oh, great. So no one, you're not working with an agent right now, so I can help you.
Exactly.
In the sale.
And you've asked your question, you've put them in the position, because they know if you ask them, who's your agent? My neighbor, my friend.
or my parents' friend.
Yeah, they'll find somebody off the top of their head.
So who's been showing you homes?
Who's been showing you homes?
I love it.
Yeah, I like that too.
Who's been showing, and it works wonders. When you set up where the point I was going to, there's a thin line. If they say they're working with somebody, but they're not doing a really good job, hey, I don't want to step on anybody's toes, and I just follow up with them and just, hey, how's everything going? And if you show that consistent follow-up and that good customer service, they will eventually either buy a house. Shawn, am I out of line in saying that?
It's a really gray line. At the end of the day, a client can work with whoever they want. And in the code of ethics, it states if you know that they're working with an agent, it's our duty to respect that between the client and that other agent. However, if they do come back to you and say, well, you know, I can't get a hold of my agent. They won't answer my phone calls. I wanted to see this house. They didn't respond to me, and now it's pending. You can have the conversation with that person and say, listen, I do not want to get into any kind of, I don't want to get in between any type of contract that you might have with your buyer's agent that is completely against our rules. However, what you can do is you can, in writing, send basically a release to them stating that you no longer want to work with them, and here is why.
Yes.
After you've done that and you want to come have a conversation with me, I'd be more than happy to help you. But like I said, I do not want to get in between anything that you have with any other agent. And I would put that in writing or a text message. Make sure you have something in your file, either in writing or noted, that you had that conversation. And then you will be covered.
And the other thing to also remember, ladies, is there's plenty of fish in the sea.
There are.
So don't get hung up on
no commission check. Listen, Gene Rivers said this to us at a business planning clinic, and if I could adopt Gene Rivers and him be my dad, I swear to God I would. Gene Rivers looked at the class and he said, there is no commission check, great or small, that can that will take over your integrity.
100%.
Your integrity is number one in this business. And I'm telling you, if you start to have a reputation in this area that you steal people's clients, you are toast.
Yes.
But if you have a reputation that you have great conversations with clients, and you make sure that you text the other agent to let them know that, hey, your client stopped by my open house, I think that they were interested, can you touch base with them? And I would love to do a deal with you. If you have that type of reputation in our market, it's going to go a long way, and you're going to have a very, very successful career working with other agents.
And I will say this too, especially those of you that are a little newer. We're out of, oh, are we? Okay. That's probably why my phone's vibrating. My wife's just telling me. Crystal and I live in the same neighborhood. Our neighborhood's out of power.
Oh, dear.
I was actually trying to be helpful to the,
And you were. She said she was trying to be helpful.
But be helpful, no matter if they're working with the agent or not, because you never know, if they might not like that agent and be like, oh, well, we had a really good conversation, you know, with that other agent over at that open house. Let me call her.
yeah, and I can appreciate that, but I think in what I did, I kind of lost myself in it because I was putting their need before mine.
And that's okay.
Like, I'm an agent now, so let me see, do you have, I was just like, here's the address, it's 11, you know, and this will probably fit your needs, I don't know. And then I gave the information and she said that she was gonna run it by her agent.
So they can't hear us on, I'm gonna repeat. So
I heard a little bit, and that's great. You can help other people's clients to a point.
Yeah,
so
don't do the work for them.
An address, that's fine. Yeah.
That's where it's a fine line.
Yep.
Don't do the work for them.
But that's what got me thinking, once they left, did I do the right thing? Like, should I?
Yes, you did.
Should I just contact their agents and say, I need to do it first? But I mean, these are all lessons that are good.
Here's the other thing I want you to think about, CJ. The other thing I want you to think about, especially if you're newer, you don't know which route you're going to necessarily take in our company just yet. You may want to be a single agent forever. You may want to grow a team. You might want to start recruiting. So me, myself, and I want to start recruiting other agents. So if I've got a terrible reputation throughout our board, I go to sit and have a conversation with another agent, I mean, it's not going to go well. Like, really, you want to go over there and he's there? So always act with intent.
It's harder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you're at the open house, ladies, when you're at the open house, this is what works for me personally. Here's how I came to this. When I started open house, I was trying to figure out and show every single person the house and point this out and the other and facts and give them the whole tour. And then I figured out when 6 or 7 people show up, you really can't do that with everyone. Okay. My personal approach is, and I want you to listen to how I word this. Hey, my name's Ethan Rapier. What's yours? Get their names. Thank you all. I appreciate you coming out. Take a look at the house, walk through it. What I need you to do before you leave is I need you to sign in here and then ask me any questions prior to you leaving, okay? Okay, great. So what I always do is I fill in the first 2 lines of the sign-in sheet with either my mom's name. It's usually not my mom. Usually I've let a past client know, he's a friend of mine, that I put his stuff on there because it's monkey see, monkey do. You are going to fill all this out, and this is your golden ticket. Okay, when you have their contact information, then you can follow up. This is the whole goal of the actual open house. Okay? I like to let them feel comfortable and, hey, I can go through this house, and I have set expectations. Did you notice that I did not ask them to sign in? I told them to sign in, and I did it in a way that made it seem like I was asking a question.
Absolutely.
Yeah, my tone of voice, the way I directed them, I didn't ask, I told. And you can do that in certain ways, okay? CJ and I, when we worked in open house together, we had somebody, we caught them in between houses, because when you work a new construction open house, typically you're holding 3 to 4 houses open. And I said, hey, I need you to sign in, man. Walk through the houses. I'll be outside. Come grab me, and I'll answer any questions. Right back in he went. He saw the previous names. I got all his information, okay? Be very relaxed. You are there to help. Answer questions about the house. Hey, what are you looking for? Oh, I'm looking for this. Is it in this price range? Yeah. Who's showing you houses? Amy Dixon is showing me houses. Okay. I'm going to text Amy and let her know her client came by, especially if it's your listing, because you want that agent to bring them back. Okay. I did that about a month ago with Rob Gaines. Text him, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Smith stopped by.
Yep.
They seem pretty interested.
And can I show you guys an easy way to get their real cell phone number?
Yes.
All right. So Ethan, you're the buyer. So
Okay.
you came in. Hi, my name's Shawn. How are you?
Oh, I know what you're going to do already. Hi, Shawn. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks for asking. So you guys just go ahead and take a look around. Let me ask you a quick question. Who's been showing you property?
Oh, and what do you mean?
Say no one.
No one.
Oh, you don't have anyone to help you with this process?
No, not right now. We're just hitting open houses.
Okay. Well, I actually have something that will help you. Are you looking in the Southern Indiana area?
Yep.
Perfect. What if I told you that I had an app that would show you all of the homes that are active on the market and the price with pictures and marketing descriptions and everything, and it's free?
Oh, that sounds kind of cool.
So what I can do is share it with you. And then if you have any questions on that property, you just have to hit the button and it will contact me, and you won't have to turn around and try to figure out the phone number on the sign. How does that sound?
That sounds great. That'd be awesome.
All right. Well, I'm going to send it to you right now. What's a good cell phone number? I can text it to you.
502. On the other one, I never take
That's aggressive. right? And you're going to get the real information because they want something that's free, that has something that they're going to need, right? It's going to help them find a house.
Yes. And something that I actually will do as well, Shawn, is I don't carry business cards. So Shawn actually taught me this lesson before I was ever a KW agent. Okay.
Absolutely not. I buy you all business cards under duress.
Somebody will ask for my business card, and I'll pat my hands. It's all strategic. Man, I don't have any. I've converted to digital. I use a digital business card that actually functions as my app too. It's really cool. Puts you directly in contact with me. What's your phone number? I'll send it to you. Oh, it's 502. Da, da, da. Cool. Da, da, da. There you go.
And as soon as you text it to them, you create a new contact with their name, and in the notes, came to such and such open house, so you remember who these people are. Otherwise, you're going to forget, and you're going to have a bunch of phone numbers with text messages that you don't know what goes where.
Yeah, and yeah, 100%.
100%.
Before you leave, so the other thing is you want to make sure you're safe, ladies. Especially with the times we live in. Tell somebody when your open house is. Make sure they know. If you're hosting for another agent, tell them how the open house went. Open house is over at 4 o'clock. At 4:01, their seller wants to know how many people come through, who's buying their house. Okay? That's what they want to know. Update your agent, okay? Be courteous.
Absolutely. Ladies, since this is primarily all ladies and Ethan, you do not have to wear 4-inch high heels to an open house. Do you all hear me? No. Wear comfortable clothes. Make sure you don't have a bunch of expensive jewelry on. I know this sounds like duh, but we do it all the time because we just want to look good. And that's okay, but you don't go out there with all of your jewelry on. You're just asking for trouble.
Yeah. And ladies, I don't mean this. So since Shawn kind of opened up this segue, I fully understand there's a difference. There's a difference in guys and girls. Okay. Let me give you a quick example. When I teach this in Ignite, when I door knock somebody, I always step back because I'm very broad-shouldered, I'm big, I'm intimidating. I'm short. That's another discussion, but I'm broad-shouldered. It's intimidating. Okay, it's the world we live in. I'm sorry, it is what it is. People are going to see, oh, it's a female. Oh, if she's wearing fine jewelry, be extremely careful. Okay, they still are strangers. It's the world we live in. I hate that, but it is what it is.
The majority of people that go out to open houses, I hope, are out there for the right reasons, but you never know who you're meeting in the general public. So just be safe, ladies. And always, everyone in our office should have at least one buddy that they check in with after showings and open houses, whether you call or you have the Life 360 app. Make sure that you are checking in with someone. I don't care if it has to be me. Craig is friends with lots of people and they check in with him. So just make sure that people know where you are at all times.
Yeah, and you need to keep mental note, stay out of your phone. You need to keep mental note who's coming through the house. Did they leave? Okay. Keep an eye, because you get somebody, I'm not trying to turn this into you're going to get abducted in the closet, but stuff happens.
The world's crazy and we want y'all to be prepared. The phone is our worst enemy because we stick our head in this phone and we are oblivious to what's going on around us. So make sure you are paying attention to your surroundings.
So Everybody understand questions so far? Questions out in Zoom land? All right. So we're wrapping up. We've had a successful open house. Here's a question. What do you consider a successful open house? One?
Well, I mean,
Let's,
says, I think you get at least one. I mean, one and up. One and up.
I would say this is what I teach. Your goal should be 4 people or couples through the house.
That makes me feel real good.
4 because one of them's going to have an agent. Yeah, one of them's going to have an agent. CJ and I've been through this. She shadowed me before. One of them's not going to be interested and give you a fake phone number. 1 or 2 will be the real deal. Okay? So after open house is ended, go through, close the house up. If sellers are coming back, when you schedule the open house, try to get about a half-hour grace period afterwards. Sit down through that list. First thing you start doing, send text messages. Hey, Mr. Smith, it's Ethan Rapier. I really appreciate you coming out to my open house. I will have that CMA done for you no later than Tuesday. Exact situation, okay? Gentlemen come to my open house. We hit it off, had a good conversation. Make sure, as I'm replaying this, make sure you can read their handwriting as they're there, okay? Make sure you can read their handwriting. So I had to literally write down behind him because it was chicken scratch and he was okay with it. I texted him, hey, appreciate you coming out to my open house. That shows another level of service, okay? Put them in your database, set them up on a follow-up plan accordingly, okay? He is a hot lead. I define a hot lead as somebody I'm following up with once to twice a week, okay? Run a CMA on him. He has a $350,000 bungalow in the Highlands. I said, what do you think your house is worth? 280? How about I put $70,000 in your pocket? So that's why you do that, because he texted me back and said, thank you, I appreciate that. And when they text back like that, you've got a connection. You've got a bond with them, okay? Set them up on the follow-up plan accordingly to whatever you use. Everybody's different. And then you should be running DTD2 or DTD4 once or twice a quarter and following up with your entire database.
What does that mean, Ethan?
So DTD2 is doing the database twice, and that basically means that you are turning over your entire database once a quarter. DTD4, it's just times 2, you're turning it over twice a quarter.
So
Okay?
you're calling?
So that's well, it depends on the size of your database, okay? When I was on the Howard group, I turned over the database once a month. And that was basically my lead generation. We had 6,000 people in there. I turned that database over once a month and would call them, and old leads would start regenerating. Okay?
So Ethan?
Yes, ma'am.
Really quick, back to the mobile app, because my husband just had like a snide comment. He's like, well, I use the Zillow app. And you guys might get that as an objection while you're out there trying to give your mobile app to people. So if you were to say to me, Ethan, well, I use the Zillow app, what I would say to handle that objection is, oh, that's great. Do you mind if I give you some information on the Zillow app? Right? Because you don't care if I give you more information on an app you already have.
What information would you provide?
I'm going to tell that client, that potential client, that Zillow doesn't update their app on a very consistent basis. So then I would ask them, have you ever run into a house that you called on and they said, oh, I'm sorry, that's pending, but it's showing up active on your app? My app is updated every 15 minutes from the multiple listing service. So it's 100% accurate as to the status of these properties.
There you go.
Because I mean, when you're out there shopping for anything, it's annoying to get your heart set on something and then be told you can't have it. Anyone ever experienced that? Because then you have FOMO.
Fear of missing.
Fear of missing out, right?
I love it.
So if I can take that away and you have accurate information, then today's been a successful day, right?
100%.
Deleting Zillow off of his phone.
We need to run that contest of how many people can you get to delete the Zillow app.
We should.
Yeah.
We should have the mobile app contest. I'm gonna write that down.
There you go. I'm good for something.
Do clients actually have to sign into the Keller Williams? Yeah.
Yep. I need to learn more about it. I'll be completely honest. I need to learn a little bit more about it. I've got a few clients that use it. I use it really to get the phone number. However, it's it's marketed to you. It's a direct link to you. And once their app is on your phone, they cannot switch agents. They have to delete the agent, delete the app. And like if I had a client that had my app on their phone, they would have to delete my app and re-upload it with Ashley's to change agents because the links are to that agent. Okay.
I'm not even sure they can do that, Ethan.
Okay.
And it's linked to command. So you can internet stalk them. So once they have the app downloaded to their phone and they go in there and they start searching and they start clicking on properties, A, it's going to put them in your contact database, and B, you'll be able to go into their client profile and see so-and-so clicked on this address. So you can call and take a look every once in a while at your database and see who's been clicking on what and give them a call and say, hey, I see that you've been looking a lot around Jeffersonville. And you told me you wanted to live in New Albany. Would you like me to update your search in the MLS? You see how that can be helpful?
Absolutely.
And then they're just baffled because they're like, how did she know that? Right? Technology, tech-enabled agent.
Judy, does that answer some of your questions on technology?
Yes, thanks.
Okay. I'm going to show you all real fast what it looks like.
I love your tag, bad phone number.
And well, here's why I don't delete them. Pick up the book, read the last chapter called integration something. I'm gonna have to ask Schoonover and Grant what it is. It's basically breaks it down into internet lead generation, and the last source says people 90%, 90 to 95%, they will give you the wrong phone number and the correct email address.
Yeah.
So our email campaigns, they're getting hit. So that's why I go through and I tag mine. I tag my people or my leads as bad phone number because I know if I call them, I'm going to get a busy signal. However, their email address is good, and I can see that. Don't shoot me. I use MailChimp. MailChimp will tell me when it bounces.
So do I.
All right. So let's go in here. See how you can see this?
Oh, look at that.
Guess which one he,
Internet stalking.
guess which one he bought?
The first one.
River Trail.
We're under contract. We close Friday.
Yeah, I have one like
He
Her list was like day long.
he's been the best one I've ever had use the app. So what did we learn today? We learned how we can get multiple leads in prepping for the open house. We learned how to get contact information, how to figure out if they're working with an agent, how to operate with integrity if they do have an agent and build that relationship. And then we learned what to do post open house. What questions do you ladies have that I didn't hit, either about open houses or that you want to ask me in general?
Do you have an open house I can do on Thursday?
No, because I'm doing it. If you want to go out to New Middletown, then yes. Okay. Do you-
I do have I did have a room out there.
What did Crystal say?
She said she's not going to New Middletown.
Why?
Well, pretty,
Country.
busy.
You like the country. Get out of here.
I do love the country.
Oh, it's great. It's a beautiful house.
I just don't want to go to New Middletown on a Thursday.
Yeah. Thursday, I don't know. Sunday, I think it'll be good. I'm going to ask. I need coverage for that one. CJ, I was going to ask you, Crystal, anybody that wants to ask me for it.
I was going to say, this weekend is Paint the Town Red,
Yeah.
right? Is it this weekend? Have I lost my mind?
Yes. It's
Yep.
this weekend.
This weekend is Paint the Town Red, so everybody needs to be in an open house.
Yeah.
I would say Saturday and Sunday.
Okay, I can do one on Saturday, but I can't do one on Sunday.
Yep. I'll be in Clarksville on Sunday.
Are you, is that the one you're in?
116 Blackstone Ridge Court.
I don't know.
There was one more thing I was going to point out to you ladies, and I cannot remember what it was. So it must not have been that important. Any questions, comments, concerns?
Is it follow-up?
I think it was follow-up, and I can't remember what it was. Make sure you send your thank you cards on follow-up. Stay after them, okay? There's an open house smart plan. It's pretty decent. You need to stay after them for a while. Again, safety first. I'm being a little bit more aggressive in this instance. There's a lady, I want to sell my house. I think it's worth $150. No, I run comps. It's worth $175. She's not returning my phone call. Guess who's getting a knock on the phone door and a hand-delivered CMA this week? Be careful. Let people know what you're doing. Okay? Can't stress it enough. All right, ladies, go ahead.
After the open house, do we wait on the owners to come back home?
No, CJ's question was, do you wait for the owners to come back?
Okay, no, you said earlier to get in touch with listing.
Yep, I lock up and go.
Lock up, blow out the candles, make sure the oven's off, all the doors and the lights are off. Yep. A lot
Perfect.
of people ask me, because sometimes when you go to a showing or an open house, the seller has turned on all of the lights. Do you leave the house as it is, or do you turn off all of the lights? I always turn off the lights and make sure all of the doors are locked, unless the listing agent has specifically told me not to.
Yes, not on Saturday, the couple came back a few minutes early, but you know, we were in there and come through on Sunday. I think they were going out, they left the Jack Daniels,
What time do you do your open house on Saturday?
on Saturday.
All right, ladies. Any questions before we disconnect? This was good.
Thanks, Ethan.
My
Thank
pleasure.
So much, Ethan.
Thank you, ladies. I appreciate you.
Have a good day.
Thank you.
Is that